My name is Mike, and I am a board member here at the Ecumenical Buddhist Society, and also lead a couple different groups, or co-lead a couple different groups. And so I want to talk about something real quick here before we begin the meditation that I thought was relevant to a meditation practice. And it has something to do with my dog. I have an 11-year-old Jack Terrier mix. His name is Jack, actually. And he's been, obviously, like all dogs, they're like family members, right? So I walk my dog often, as you would imagine. And I did this morning, right before I came here, just, under an hour ago, I guess. Took him for a quick walk. And again, he's about 11 years old, so he's getting up there. He's still pretty spry, but his age is sort of showing, and he's becoming sort of obstinate a little bit about what he wants and what he doesn't want. And when I take him for a walk, as I have for years, sometimes I can get a little impatient, because Jack, like all dogs, will want to sniff at every tree, every shrub, every bush, anything, and it can be just like every foot, 5 feet, he is stopping and he wants to sniff at something. And, if you're a dog training person, which I'm not, but I have, read articles, and I've had friends who train dogs, and this whole idea of training them to walk by your side and stay focused, which is all good. I'm not trying to criticize that. I've never been very good about that. I try sporadically to train him to not always do that, to drag me to the side, to sniff a bush and a tree, and to pee every, 100 feet. But lately I've taken the stance with him to just let him sniff. and this morning before I came here, I was walking Jack and try to sort of just stop with my agenda. Stop with my agenda of having him walk politely at my side and just let him do what he does and just sort of observe that. And, of course, every 5 feet, he would stop and he would sniff and maybe lick the piece of grass or whatever it was. And then I'd be like, I just wait. And then Jack, you ready? And then he would look at me and he'd start walking again. And then, of course, 10 feet, 15 feet later, maybe less, he'd stop. And I would let him. And he would sniff. And I wouldn't push him. I wouldn't yank his leash a little bit. Come on, hurry up. Just let him do what he does. And then I wouldn't even have to say something. Maybe after a few seconds, he would just be ready to go on. And I thought, boy, that's interesting. And I think it has something to do with this meditation practice, and which is not just on a cushion, it's every day, every moment of our lives, of learning to stop yanking our own chain all the time, I guess. I think I put in the title of this morning's video, are you really seeing? Or maybe I should have said, are you really sniffing? Are you taking the time to sniff? Are you taking the time to see? This is not some commentary on what we should or shouldn't be doing with our dogs. Sometimes it's important to train our pets to pay attention and to walk safely at our side and not yank us around. Jack, after all, the small Jack Russell, he's not some 100-pound monster that if he stops every few feet could, yank my arm off. But nonetheless, I think that it was really revealing in a way for me personally to just let him be him, let Jack be Jack, let him sniff and notice, and let him notice. He just wants to notice everything. Just wants to notice everything. His senses are extremely attuned to the environment around him. His sense of smell is super strong. And all he wants to do is stop for 5 seconds and smell that piece of grass. And then he's ready to go. And I thought to myself, why don't I let him do that more often? Why am I so obsessed with him modifying his behavior to my agenda? That has something to do with meditation. I can't exactly say what, but I guess it has something to do with how this practice is a way of sort of retraining ourselves to smell the grass, to just notice. Stop yanking yourself around from thing to thing, moment to moment, meeting to meeting. That if you find yourself walking to your car and you notice a flower or something unusual, that you don't say, well, I got to go to the meeting. I got to extend my schedule. That you just maybe take a moment to notice it and be lost in it for 5 seconds or 10 seconds or whatever. And then you can go about your day. I think that's part of a meditation practice. I think that is meditation. It's not just this formal sitting as I am, lotus style, somewhat lotus style, on a cushion. It is every moment of our lives. It's really seeing, really noticing. And sometimes our pets can be the best teachers. Okay, so that's all I'm going to comment on here this morning. I am going to kind of segue into this guided meditation time. So again, feel free to turn the volume down if you'd like, or you need to, whatever is needed. And then we'll sit quietly for 15 or so minutes, and you may hear a bit of a buzzing sound here in the room. I can't mute myself on Facebook, but you'll maybe hear the air conditioner or the weed eater, the weed blowers out there. Hope you can work with that. So take a moment to get yourself oriented on your chair or your cushion, wherever you might be. As long as you're sitting on some kind of a surface that gives you some support under your tailbone and you can get your back straight, so nothing that's super soft like a couch or a bed where it's so soft that you kind of collapse into it. So that's something that gives you a little bit of support, where you can sit with your shoulders back and your head up a little bit and you feel supported. And just breathe. Nothing exaggerated. Maybe a little yawn comes out. Mine, a yawn wanted to come out. That's okay. Just breathe. Allow yourself to be grounded in this moment and on your cushion or chair. It's like dropping an anchor from a boat. You drop the anchor, it sinks and sinks and sinks, and then it eventually hits the bottom and holds that boat in place. So in many ways what we're doing here is dropping an anchor and just letting it settle in, grounding us into this moment on your chair, on your cushion. And once you feel that anchor is dropped, bringing your attention to your breath. Not doing anything fancy. Just letting your breath settle into its natural rhythm and process. And maybe as you do this more, of course, your breathing slows down and relaxes a little bit. We are, after all, coming from some part of our day where we were maybe in a meeting or fixing a meal for the kids or running errands. And now we're slowing down and taking this time. Sometimes that transition just takes a minute. So be patient with yourself. This is not about turning on a dime, flipping a switch. Just a slow, gradual tuning in to your body, to this moment. Maybe it helps to send your hearing out. In other words, take notice of everything in your surroundings that you hear, as minute or small as they may be. Just taking in those sounds, or smells, or sights, and not doing anything with it, just noticing. And then coming back to your breathing, which is always there to ground you. While you're noticing, maybe you're becoming aware of tension or any stress or anxiety, discomfort that you might feel in your body, shoulders sometimes for me, or neck. Back. Not trying to fix it or wish it wasn't there, just noticing, acknowledging that discomfort. And sometimes just in acknowledging that, it soothes it and makes it better. So now we'll move on to our 15 minutes of just quietly sitting here, holding the space together for each other. And then you'll hear me end our 15 minutes with the singing of a bowl that's here next to me. And then we'll wrap things up before we go. appreciate it. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of the Tuesday, and stay well. Be well.